Hey everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nissa and today I built this little habitat because I thought I just built for the lions, and every time I build for the lion I get reminded of the Lion King. So what's next? Well, we need Timon and Pumbaa. So I built this for the common Warthog and the Meerkat. And if you want to learn about those animals, or just simply talk a little more Disney, or just see how I built this, then please keep watching. And before we get too much into today's video, I have news about the Ukrainian lions, or the now Danish lions, who have been helped by a Polish zoo out from Ukraine. I actually thought all three of them were from the same zoo in the Kharkiv region of Ukraine. That's not true. It's only Simba and Ploy who came from that zoo. The third one, called V, came from a private home where they had multiple predator animals. However, short before the war started, it became illegal to hold these kind of big animals in private homes. However, the government didn't have time before the war to make sure all of these rules were held up. So therefore, we were still in this private home when the war broke out. So we were introduced to Simba and Ploy in the Poland zoo from Poznan zoo in Poland. There they were introduced to each other and have been with each other the last half a year before they arrived to Denmark. I am working on making a video specifically on this, so I will go more into detail there. I just want to mention that the one from a private home, we have some back issues, which some medias have told may have stemmed from malnutrition, and some state that it can be anything. So in my main video on this subject, I will give you all of the information where I have it from and so on. I just wanted to make this quick update. The vets in Knuthenborg Safari Park, where they have been offered a permanent home on Litle, a small island here in Denmark, the vets there are keeping a close eye on her if they are able to do anything, or in worst case, if it is really giving her major pain, they have to put her down. But it seems to only give her issues with when she jumps on things and down from things, and then she walks a little funny on her front paws. I will, as I mentioned, keep an eye on this, but I really want to have all the informations before I make a dedicated video to only this. However, that's not really why we are here today. I'm here to talk about the meerkats and the common warthog. Why? Simply because, as I mentioned before, I love the Lion King. I grew up with the Lion King, one of my favorite movies as a child. And therefore, after making the lion habitat here last Wednesday, I really wanted to build for the Timon and Pumbaa, basically. So that's what I'm gonna build here today. Again, this is my childhood fantasy about having a backyard zoo, which have given me a little stomachache reading about all this with because she came from a private home, maybe a backyard zoo, or it stated like a private home, so that could be anything, basically. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into it. I think most of you people here on my channel are animal lovers like me, and therefore you may have the same issues about it as me, but this is more about my childhood fantasy, and I definitely wanted Timon and Pumbaa in my zoo when I was a child. So therefore, that's what we're gonna do here today. And let's start with the meerkat. I actually mentioned something about the meerkat in a previous video. I'm not sure if it was the lion or something before that. But the thing is, though, even though they have the genus Suricata, which is, that's only this meerkat, so they have their own genus. Then they, of course, have the family, which is Herpestidae, which is all of the mongoose, or the mongoose, there's not that many. Then we have the suborder, which is the Feliformia. And you have heard that before here on my channel, because that is the tigers, the lynx, the cheetahs, all of the cats. So it's only mongoose and cats. And the funny thing is that under this suborder, that's also where the cat splits, where you have the big cats, which is the Panthera family, and then you have the smaller cats in their family. So technically, the meerkat is as closely related to the lion than smaller cats like the ocelot, the serval, the snow leopard, also lynx. All of these is as closely related as the meerkat is to the lions, tigers, and so on. So that's actually something I found really, really interesting and really, really weird, because it doesn't look like a kitty cat. But when you think about it, they have some of the same features, not like as much as the others, but they still have these carnivore instincts than a lot of the cats have. The meerkat is, of course, a very small animal. It's weigh roughly between 0.7 and 0.9 kilos, which is roughly a pound and a half to 2 pounds. So it's very, very small, of course. It can have a length between 25 and 35 centimeters, which is roughly a feet plus minus a few inches. But I think something the Lion King did confuse us a little bit about is the fact that I thought it was just all over Africa. And I'm not sure if it's just me who got confused or if it's anyone, because it's not really in all of Africa. It's Angola, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, which is, if you don't know, it's if you go down to the most southern part of Africa, that little corner down there, but not on the west coast and not on the south coast, only on the east coast. The coast to the left, if you look at a map, is the only coast they go out to, but only that small corner down there, which really isn't a lot. They do, however, of course, live on the savanna and the grassland, but also in scrublands and rocky areas, which does make sense when you think about it. It's just not the first thing you think about when you think about meerkats. They stay both within the arid and the tropical climate zones, so they are a little traversal there. Of course, they are carnivores, so it makes sense that as long as they can find their food and they can keep warm, they will be kind of comfortable. Meerkats live in family groups. This we also have seen in one of the sequels to The Lion Kings, but these groups will normally be between 10 and 30 individuals. We know Timon's family group were much, much bigger. These, however, won't be family groups. It will be packs. They can be more than the 30 individuals if there are food enough for all of them, but if there's not, they will stay within the limits that they can feed all. However, these pack will consist of 3 to 4 family groups, again, and more if the food is there, but normally between 3 and 4 family groups. With 1 male and 1 female, which means Timon's family group will only be his mom, his dad, and their offspring being his siblings. And then the other family groups will be a part of the pack, but not his family group. And these packs will together be territorial about their area, but the family groups will not be territorial and share everything in between each other. The family groups within the same pack, that is. Meerkats will constantly move in flocks and constantly be on the move when they are above ground, where they are very vulnerable to floods or basic predators. Even though they are predators themselves, they are the smallest one out there in a lot of areas. So therefore, they need to be careful. They need to have safety in number, because sometimes your best bet is just not to be fast enough to get away from the predator, but just run faster than the slowest of your own family. Therefore, they also spend most of the day in their burrow if they can. Of course, there's not enough food down there, but they burrow these giant burrow systems, which will be around 5 meters in diameter, which is roughly 13 feet diagonally. However, this is a lot of systems, and they are in multiple levels, 2 to 3 levels though. And have openings, multiple openings. So if a predator get down in one opening, you can get out the other way. And these openings will only be around 15. There will be around 15 of these openings. So no matter where you are, you have a secure access. Most of the adults will again go out in search of food in these bigger groups. However, the youngs don't, and therefore you need a babysitter to stay at home. So as many as possible will go out and search for food, but one or maybe two, depending on the size of the group, will stay home and take care of not only their family group, but the entire pack's offspring. Again, these are the next generation, so we need them to survive no matter what. Therefore, the lookouts, the babysitters here, will find a place where they can make themselves as tall as possible. They, of course, do this on their hind legs, but if they can find like a big, good rock or something to stand on, they can get an even better view, which is this kind of lookout stature where we have seen a lot of pictures of them. And this also occurs in the Lion King sequel, which actually I think is kind of amazing how many facts they got right in that movie, since it is still a Disney movie. They have multiple different calls these lookouts will use, either when, again, they are babysitting, so it's only the babies, but also different calls when it's the entire pack that needs to be knowing this. And this group will make the entire pack instantaneously drop down in the burrows with it just through to the closest entrance. Don't care which entrance, it just need to be close. Which is kind of amazing that you can have this giant group of 30 individuals just disappearing because of one single sound. But they will have multiple different sounds they can use, but they basically all means the same, just duck and run for cover. As I already have mentioned, the meerkat are carnivores, but more specifically, they are insectivores, which means they eat mostly insects, such as beetles, spiders, crickets, centipedes, millipedes, and worms. However, they can also eat scorpions, where they have evolved over time to become completely immune to the scorpion's venom. So therefore, even though the scorpion stings it, of course the sting hurt, but the poison or the venom won't affect them at all, which is really lucky for them and really lucky for the people in the area, since scorpions really not is something you want to run into. However, they do also eat nut insects, which of course could be eggs, roots, tubers, small reptiles, and again classify small, and small mammals, again small. And as I already mentioned, the meerkat don't live a lot of places, but because they have evolved to be so good at what they do, hide, run, and duck for cover, and immunity to scorpion's venom, They do not have any really big issues. Of course, they are the bigger predators, but because they are so quick to see the issues, get away, and breed also, they don't have any big issues nowadays. That doesn't mean that this can't change, but at this point, they are listed as the least concerned animal according to the IUCN Red List, and I'm so happy about that because it is a beautiful animal that deserves to live in our world. But let's talk a little bit about the common warthog, which again, I'm not sure if Pumba was a common warthog or another warthog, but it's the one we're gonna go with. It is, however, not even closely related to the tigers or lions at all. So when Simba calls Timon and Pumbaa for uncles, it is closer to right with Timon than it is with Pumbaa, but we're gonna go with it. It's a Disney movie. However, there are still, of course, all in the mammalia class, which is most animals. The common warthog grows to a size about 63.5 to 85 centimeters, which is roughly 2 to 2.5, 2.7 feet, very roughly here, height. So therefore, they are actually 2 to 3 times higher than the Meerkat when the Meerkat is on its hind legs. I just want this comparison because Timon is not that small comparing to Pumbaa, so stop with the fat jokes. The common warthog also lives a lot of different places. Again, meerkats were only living in 3 places. 4 countries. But the common warthog live in Angola, Benin, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, South African Republic, Chad, DR Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Kenya, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Mauritania, Mozambique, Namibia, Niger, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, South Africa, South Sudan, Swaziland, Tanzania, Togo, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. What I think were the most important part here is, of course, that the common warthog lives in both Angola, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa, because that is where the meerkat lives. So Disney again got something right here. They live the same places. And the lions, of course, also live all of these 4 places. So thank you, Disney, you taught me something. Looking at biomes and climate zones, they also kind of live the same places, the meerkat and the common warthog. However, where the meerkat lives both in arid and tropical climate zones, the warthog only the tropical. They also agree on both the grassland, savanna, and scrubland, but where the meerkat lived in a rocky area, the warthog do not. It does, however, also live in woodland, anthropogenic biomes, and agricultural biomes. The common warthog have a kind of different family structure compared to other animals, where the females lives in sonders, I think they're called, which is basically females groups, small females groups, and then their offspring. However, when the male get sub-adult, they call it here, it is like big teenagers, they will move out and move in with other young bachelor warthogs. These bachelor groups will only be there for a time. They will still stay close to where they additionally came from, their own family range, but not be a part of their family group anymore. They will be a part of this bachelor group until they are completely able to take care of themselves, and then they will go out and live solitary lives from there on off. However, still stay in the general area of their family, but not interact and not be a part of that group at all. And sorry, I'm running out of time here, but I will just mention the Warthog does have a few more issues than the Meerkat. One, for instance, being hunting, which is for multiple different reasons. Their meat, entertainment, skins, tusk, or as simply bait for hunting other stuff. They also have issues with droughts and diseases. Again, some diseases can come from other domesticated animals, which also is an issue since they need the same food as a lot of livestock does. They also have especially issues in the eastern part of Africa, where they suffer for habitat degradation, which also give the issue of losing each other and thereby fragmenting the population, so they have a hard time getting in contact with others. And this also means, as we have talked about before, when you isolate smaller groups of a specific animals, then inbreeding will happen sooner or later, which will be a new factor. It isn't yet, but it can happen over time. However, as far as it is now, it is still legal to hunt them, and that is basically because the numbers is still as high as they are. We are talking 22.25 thousand individuals thriving in nature, and therefore they are still at least concerned animals, but because of these issues, we still need to keep an eye on them. Okay guys, that's all I got for you today. As always, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. Really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys!